All right, so here's where we're at so far. We've talked about building a 7-step process for new financial advisors to build your business. We talked about at the beginning, start with a clear vision about what you want your business to look like. From there, we got into build a plan, create your plan. And that plan must have 5 to 10 meetings a week in it. Whatever your plan is, that's non-negotiable. Then we talked about in order to get that plan going, we need to create and build a list. And then from the list, we talked about what are you going to say when you start to call people on the list. And then we said, once you start having those meetings, what do you say when you have those casual coffee meetings with people? So we've gone through the first 5 steps. So step 6 is maybe one of the most important steps of the process, which is starting to generate referrals. This business, you and I both know, this business is about referrals, about introductions and referrals. By the way, just a small note on that. I think you'll find that if you use the word introductions rather than referrals, you'll have more success today. You know, sometimes referral implies endorse. People may not feel comfortable endorsing you as a new financial advisor. So I'm just in the process of meeting new people. Anybody you can introduce me to, you know, that I think you'll have a little bit more success with. Now, the reason why referrals are so important, you guys know this, is every study on the planet will show you that the high net worth client, where do they find their advisor? They don't find them through cold calling, and they really don't find them through seminars anymore, networking to a degree, but for the most part, the high net worth client finds their advisor through introductions and referrals. So you got to make sure that you're tapping into that resource. So how do you do that? How do you become more effective at generating referrals? Well, one of the mistakes that I think a lot of us make is when we go out, number one, we're not asking for referrals. Most of us don't ask for enough referrals or introductions for whatever reason. So you got to get over that. That's the first. And by the way, I had this discussion a couple of days ago with a person on one of my coaching calls. And she was struggling a little bit with just the importance, not so much the importance, with actually asking the people that she knows for introductions. She knew it was important, but she says, I'll be real honest with you, I feel more comfortable calling people I don't know and asking them for business than calling people I do know and asking for introductions and referrals. And if you fall in that boat, I understand it, but you got to get over it. That's what this business is. This business is about meeting new people. Who better to meet than the people that know the people that you know? But here's a point that I made to her, is the mindset I think that we have to have when we're asking for introductions is we're not asking for introductions and referrals because we needed to keep our job, to hit our hurdles, to make money. The reason that we're asking for introductions and referrals is because you know people that I don't, that are going through and making stupid decisions in their life financially. They need my help, right? I know things that they don't know, right? You know, it's almost as though you have a moral obligation to the people that you know to ask them for introductions and referrals because they know people that need you now, right? Now, I'm dramatizing a little bit, but that's the mindset. So if you've already got over the mindset that you know you need to ask for referrals, then why aren't we getting more? Well, here's the biggest reason why I find a lot of us don't get as many referrals as we should, if you're asking, is because a lot of us, the way we ask for referrals at best is ineffective. You know, the actual act of asking for referrals is ineffective because most of us are way too vague and we're way too general in the way we ask for referrals. Because here's what we do. And we've done this for years, guys, and it doesn't work anymore. What we're saying are things like, we're talking to people we know, and we say things like, if you know anybody that you can refer to me, I can sure appreciate it. By the way, here's some cards. Take some cards. Don't keep me a stranger. And what they do is they look at you right in the eye and they say, well, if I can think of anybody, I sure will. You know, you'll be at the top of my list. But the phone doesn't ring. You know, it's not ringing for you. Because they don't know. Two reasons why the phone's not ringing. Number one, guys, I hate to break this to you, is the minute they leave that interaction with you, they're not thinking about you. And they're certainly not thinking, who can I refer him to? That's number one. And number two is the vagueness of which you ask is too general, it's too vague. They don't know they don't know who to refer because you're saying things like, do you know anybody that you can refer? Well, they know a lot of people. But they don't know what you do. They don't know anybody that needs investment advice on what's going on in the market. They don't know anybody that needs to put a plan together. They know a lot of people, but they don't really know what you do. And so at some point, I'm going to suggest, guys, you got to be specific. The more specific you are, the more effective you're going to be at generating referrals. Now, here's a phrase, and I mentioned this on an earlier video, but here's a phrase that I'd love to see you get into your vocabulary when you're asking for introductions and referrals. is you've got to be sure that you're asking people, who do they know that are going through transitions in their life that have an impact on them financially? When I'm talking to my natural prospects, I say things like, Joe, the people that I help the most are people who are going through transitions in their life that have an impact on them financially. When they change a job, when they sell a business, when they get promoted, they get downsized. Sometimes if they go through a death or a divorce, or they have young kids that need to start planning for future education needs. But as they go through those transitions, they need our input and advice into how it affects them financially. And so what I find is guys, you got to get away from that general thing, the general phrases that we've used for so many years, where we say, do you know anybody that you can refer to me? I'd certainly appreciate it, right? And putting little I love referrals on the back of your business card. That doesn't get it anymore. You got to be specific. So your phrasing is, we help families that go through transitions that impact them financially. And then what I would suggest, be very specific about where they come in contact with people who are going through those transitions. I might even say, Joe, I know you've been out here at the company for, it's got to be going on 25 years. Who do you know out there that's thinking about retiring? Or maybe better yet, who do you know that recently retired? Who do you know that just got promoted or just got transferred in from another job? Or I know how involved you are in the soccer league down here. Who do you know down there that maybe, I don't know, came into an inheritance or moved into the community or has young kids and they're starting to think about funding their kids' education? Who do you know? And the more specific like that you can be, guys, the more effective you're going to be at generating introductions and referrals. So a key part of this business is you got to ask, but when you ask, you got to be specific. So hopefully that helps in building and generating your business based on referrals.